Without further ado, I want to call the next speaker to the stage, Matanyahu Englman. He is the State Comptroller of Israel and President of Eurosay. Matanyahu, the stage is yours.
Major General Professor Yitzhak Ben Israel, Mr. Gabi Portnoy, the Director General of the Israel National Cyber Directorate, Professor Porat, the President of Tel Aviv University, dear guests. Cyberspace is characterized by rapid technological development affecting all areas of life. Cyberspace and technological progress hold many advantages for the economy and society, but they hold inherent threats that may affect the functional continuity of organizations, the integrity of process, and the confidentiality of information. And as you all know, a lot of our private data is kept by public bodies, data that relates to our health, funds, families, etc. In the last decade, cyber attacks on organizations, especially on government institutions and critical infrastructures, have increased significantly. In 2023, more than 420 million cyber attacks on critical infrastructures in the world have occurred, which means 13 attacks occur each second. According to Statista, in the past year, almost 73% of the world's organizations were victims of ransom attack. Last year, Israel also experienced attacks by state organizations on hospitals, attacks by states and organizations on hospitals like Ziv Hospital, higher education universities like the Technion, and attacks on suppliers of supply chain providing services to governance bodies, and also direct attacks against government ministries, such as the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Education. Given the increasing cyber threats Israel is facing in recent years, at the beginning of my tenure as State Comptroller and Ombudsman, I specified the cyber field as a core issue that state audit will address. This is to examine the audited body's preparedness to contend with cyberspace risks, strategic threats, and future cyber challenges. To develop and strengthen the professional capacities of our office in cyber and IT, we established a cyber audit division. We recruited employees with professional background in cyber, promoted international certification of our employees as Certified Information System Auditors, CISA, and engaged with cyber professionals as external consultants to assist audit teams. And you should be aware that we are auditing over 2,000 public bodies all over Israel, which means everybody that receives public funds is subject to our audit. Furthermore, our office took a setting step in Israel, and among state audit institutions worldwide, we hired hackers to conduct penetration tests into the computerized systems of the audited bodies, simulating a cyber attack. The purpose of the penetration tests was to find vulnerabilities in the systems that may endanger its stability during an attempted attack and disrupt the regular functioning. The tests were conducted in coordination with the audited bodies. For example, we performed a penetration test into infrastructure and network of a health center, and transportation system of a large local authority, and into the databases of the Israel Prison Service. During the Iron Swords War, the scope and the intensity of cyber attacks against Israel, aiming to hurt national security, public safety, and to weaken the national resilience, have significantly increased. The war emphasized the necessity of Israel to be prepared to deal with an emergency of many fronts, with the cyber dimension being one main threat. The level of preparedness of Israel to cyber threats is a significant component of the overall preparedness of Israel and its resilience. For that reason, the audited bodies should be prepared for protecting their system in case of cyber incidents. The cost of handling cyber attacks in Israel in 2024 is estimated at approximately 12 billion shekels, which is quite similar to 3.5 billion US dollars. During the war, the attacks were aimed against essential organizations. The focus of these attacks were to the supply chain of many organizations and companies that provide digital services to organizations, the communication center, the energy sector, the health sector, governance body, the financial sectors, and local authorities. In 2000, can we move it? In 2021-2022, our office published cyber and information security audits in infrastructure, education, transportation, health, and financial fields in local authorities. The office examined the information system and cyber protection of the election process for the Knesset, our parliament, biometric databases, cyber protection of medical devices, information system in local authorities, and we also examined the protection of our children activities online, both from the perspective of the law enforcement and also by our education system. How do we educate our children to behave online and to protect themselves online? The following topics were examined: the integrity and reliability of information systems, the effectiveness of the computerized protections and controls, the protection of private information, investment in IT, issues of preparedness for cyber incidents and disaster recovery, preparedness for cyber attacks and damage to critical infrastructure, etc. Last year, our office published a designated report on cyber protection and information systems, including several topics that are presented on the screen. For example, in auditing cyber risk management in ICT supply chain, we found out that 55% of the government ministries and bodies are not following the supply chain methodology set by our National Cyber Directorate in order to handle the risks of cyber attacks. We also found out that 18 suppliers provide services to government ministries and many CCI bodies. 5 of them provide service to more than 49 ministries, and yet the national cyber units are not monitoring main suppliers that provide services to many government bodies and suppliers that won large tenders, even though the financial scope of the engagement with those suppliers is approximately 1.4 billion shekels. In addition, many public bodies noted that they didn't perform independent monitoring activities on their main suppliers. The different audits raised following main deficiencies: the lack of regulation of cyber protection principles and the establishment of a compliance program to address the risks appropriately, lack of policies and procedures in large organizations to ensure the implementation of cyber protection, lack of mutual learning, lack of enforcement by law enforcement bodies, insufficient investment in cyber protections, lack of openness to significant cyber incidents and disaster recovery plan. In addition, gaps were raised regarding these topics: managing users and permissions, documentation, control of network access, protection of servers and stands, segmentation and flow control, dated software, unsecured access, etc. As part of our current work, we are examining Israel's preparedness to cyber incidents during the war. We are checking now 30 main public bodies. This audit includes few sections. The first deals with gaps in the level of cyber protection in the resilience of Israel and the actions the regulatory bodies took in order to strengthen the resilience. The second examines the preparedness of critical bodies to cyber attacks and how those attacks were dealt. We are also examining the way Israel is handling conscience operations and facing, like mentioned before, fake news influencing public opinion over the world. And also we are checking the protection of IT systems in, for example, the Prime Minister's office, the cyber protection of remote manned aerial vehicles, protection against cyber threats on control system of Home Front Command, and the continuity of IDF's ICT system at the opening day of the war. In addition, we are examining protection against cyber threats on ICT systems in one of our defense industry. I see great importance in these audits in light of higher risks we might be facing. As a state controller of Israel, I intend to pay close attention to cyber protection, information technology, and to the protection of privacy for the benefit of the citizens of Israel and the world. Last month, I entered my position as the president of Eurosay, the European Organization of Supreme Audit Institutions. In this organization, 51 state auditors from all over Europe are members, and our office is leading nowadays a parallel audit on the topics of AI, with many participants from state audit institutions from Europe. As part of the audit, we will examine the state's preparedness to cyber threats in the AI area. Thank you for your attention. We wish you for better days. We wish all of us, for better days and hope for the return of all our hostages home safely. I wish you all a fruitful and enriching conference. Thank you very much.